Olivia Martinez sat alone in her small bedroom, staring at the digital letter glowing on her tablet. Her hand shook slightly as she read it for the 10th time. Congratulations, you have been accepted to the United Galactic Military Academy. She could hardly believe it. Growing up in the farming community of Riverdale, most people never left Earth, let alone joined the elite academy that trained officers for the Galactic Alliance fleet. At 19, she was older than most incoming cadets, having spent 2 years working odd jobs to save money after her father died. Her room was simple, posters of starships on the walls, a telescope by the window, and books about space scattered everywhere. Outside, the Iowa cornfields stretched to the horizon, but Olivia had always looked up instead of around. "Mom, I got in," she called, rushing downstairs with the tablet. Her mother looked up from preparing dinner, her expression a mix of pride and worry. "That's wonderful, honey. But are you sure about this?" "I've never been more sure of anything," Olivia said, showing her the acceptance letter. Her mother wiped her hands on her apron and took the tablet. "The Academy accepts only 200 humans each year. You should be proud." She paused. "But you know how difficult it will be. Humans have only been part of the Alliance for 40 years. The other species, they don't always think we belong." Olivia knew the statistics. Humans had the highest dropout rate of any species at the Academy. Many called it the human filter, a way to include Earth in the Alliance while ensuring few humans ever reached command positions. "Dad would have wanted me to try," she said quietly. Her mother nodded. "He would have been so proud." That night, Olivia stood in the backyard, watching the distant lights of a Galactic Alliance cruiser passing overhead. Her father had worked maintenance on civilian transport ships, nothing glamorous, but enough to feed his daughter stories of distant worlds and strange beings. "I'm going to make it, Dad," she whispered to the stars. 2 weeks later, Olivia said goodbye to her mother at the transport station. With just one duffel bag of possessions, she boarded the shuttle that would take her to the orbital platform. "Remember who you are," her mother said during their final hug. "No matter what they say." The journey to the Academy took 3 days. Olivia spent most of it studying basic Academy texts on her tablet, trying to prepare. Most cadets from advanced worlds had years of pre-Academy training. She had none. When the transport ship finally approached the Academy, Olivia pressed her face to the viewport. The Academy was a massive ring structure orbiting Proxima Centauri, humanity's nearest stellar neighbor. Thousands of lights twinkled along its curved surface, and training vessels darted around it like fireflies. "All human cadets report to Docking Bay 7 for processing," announced a voice over the intercom. Olivia joined the line of nervous human cadets, 15 in total, as they disembarked. A tall, blue-skinned Arcturian officer checked their credentials without making eye contact. "Name?" he asked when Olivia stepped forward. "Olivia Martinez, sir." He scanned her chip. "Cadet Martinez, human, assigned to Barracks 12C, follow the yellow line to orientation." As Olivia walked down the long corridor, she noticed other species, Silurians with their 4 eyes, tall, elegant Vordans, crystalline Traxians, all watching the human cadets with expressions ranging from curiosity to disdain. "Look at the new batch of primitives," someone said in accented common language, just loud enough to hear. Olivia tightened her grip on her bag and kept walking. She had expected this. The real challenge was just beginning. Barracks 12C looked like a metal box with beds. Olivia stood in the doorway, taking in her new home. 6 bunks lined the walls. 5 were clearly taken, personal items marking territories. The only empty one was in the far corner, away from the bathroom. "You must be the human," said a voice behind her. Olivia turned to see a tall, golden-skinned Vordan female. She had the typical ridge-like forehead of her species and stood nearly 7 feet tall. "I'm Olivia Martinez," she said, offering her hand, as she'd been taught in orientation videos. The Vordan looked at the hand, but didn't take it. "I am Mara, 3rd-year cadet. I will be your section leader." Her voice was cold. Your bunk is there. Keep your things tidy. Humans are known to be messy. Olivia dropped her hand and nodded. Yes, Mom. She walked to her bunk and began unpacking her few belongings. As she worked, other roommates entered. A purple-skinned Meridian with 4 arms, a pair of identical Tractions with glittering silver skin, and a small Zoltan whose species braid through gills on their neck. None introduced themselves. Lights out in 30 minutes, announced Nara. First day assessment begins at 600 hours. Don't be late, human. Olivia lay in her bunk that night, listening to the strange breathing patterns of her roommates. Sleep seemed impossible. Morning came too quickly. The barracks lights switched on automatically at 5:30. Olivia jumped out of bed, nearly hitting her head on the metal frame. Her roommates were already moving, their morning routines practiced and quick. Bathroom is available for 3 minutes per cadet, Nara announced. Human goes last. By the time Olivia got to use the bathroom, she had only 90 seconds before they needed to leave. She splashed water on her face, pulled back her dark hair into a regulation bun, and hurried to join the others. First day assessment took place in the Academy's main training hall. Hundreds of cadets stood in neat rows, organized by species. Olivia joined the human section, just 15 cadets looking small compared to the larger groups. Commander Brell, a gray-skinned Arcturian with cybernetic enhancements visible at his temples, paced before them. Welcome to the United Galactic Military Academy, he said, his voice echoing through the hall. You are here because your worlds believe you have potential, but potential means nothing without performance. He activated a holographic display that showed statistics from previous graduating classes. Dropout rates by species, he said, pointing to the display. Humans topped the chart at 68%. Some species adapt better to academy training, Brell continued. This is not discrimination. It is biological fact. Celarians process spatial mathematics naturally. Vordans have superior physical strength. Meridians can multitask with multiple limbs. His eyes seemed to find Olivia in the crowd. Humans have determination. Sometimes that is enough. Usually, it is not. After the speech came physical assessments. Cadets were tested on strength, speed, and endurance. The gravity settings were standardized for all species, which meant some struggled while others excelled. Humans performed in the bottom third for most tests. Olivia did better than some of her fellow humans, but still far below the academy average. Martinez called out the physical training instructor, a muscular Vordan. Your endurance numbers are acceptable, but strength is below minimum requirements. Several non-human cadets snickered nearby. Typical human, whispered a Celarian cadet. They'll wash out within a month. Olivia kept her face neutral, refusing to show how the words stung. During lunch, she sat alone at the end of a long table. The other human cadets had formed small groups, but no one invited her to join. First day is always the hardest, said a voice. A human instructor with lieutenant's insignia sat down across from her. Lieutenant Allen, Navigation Department. Cadet Martinez, sir. He smiled slightly. I know. I've reviewed your entrance exams. Good scores for someone without pre-academy training. Not good enough, apparently, she said, glancing at a group of Celarians who were watching her with obvious amusement. Don't let them get to you, he said. Find your strengths, Cadet. Every species has them. As Lieutenant Allen left, Olivia straightened her shoulders. She would find her strengths. She had to. 2 weeks into academy training, Olivia developed a routine. She woke an hour before the others, doing extra strength exercises to compensate for her human limitations. Classes filled her days, and evenings were for simulator practice. Sleep came in short bursts between studying. Despite her efforts, most instructors barely noticed her. In a class of superior alien species, humans rarely stood out for good reasons. Today we begin practical navigation, announced Commander Vex, a 4-armed Meridian whose skin shifted between shades of blue depending on his mood. Currently, he looked bored. pale blue. The classroom featured 20 simulator pods arranged in a circle. Each cadet would run the same scenario, while others watched their performance on the main screen. Navigating through an asteroid field requires precise calculations and quick reflexes, Commander Vex explained. The simulator will measure your reaction time and decision quality. He assigned cadets to pods in order of their current class ranking. Olivia was third from last. Nora, her Vorten roommate, went first. Her long fingers danced across the controls, guiding the virtual ship through the asteroid field with grace. The counter showed 0 collisions. "Excellent work, Cadet Nara," Commander Vex said, his skin darkening to pleased indigo. "Nearly perfect score." The Accelarians performed equally well, their 4 eyes giving them superior spatial awareness. One by one, different species demonstrated their natural talents. Then came the humans. The first human cadet, a boy named Sam, hit 3 asteroids before reaching the halfway point. Laughter rippled through the room as his ship exploded on the screen. "Poor spatial awareness," Commander Vex noted. "Try again tomorrow." The second human did slightly better but still failed. By the time Olivia's turn came, the mood in the room had shifted to anticipation of another human failure. "Cadet Martinez," called Commander Vex, "perhaps you can redeem your species today." Olivia climbed into the pod with her heart pounding. The virtual display activated, showing a dense asteroid field ahead. She took a deep breath and placed her hands on the controls. Simulation beginning in 3, 2, 1. The first asteroids came slow and far apart. Olivia navigated between them easily. Then they grew denser, requiring faster reactions. She focused intensely, ignoring the knowledge that everyone was watching. Halfway through, the simulator added a new challenge: electromagnetic disturbances affecting the ship's sensors. Warning lights flashed on her console. Olivia's ship clipped an asteroid. Damage alerts sounded. She heard laughter from outside the pod. "Typical human performance," someone said loudly. 2 more collisions followed as the asteroids came faster. With each hit, her ship became harder to control. By the end of the course, her virtual ship limped across the finish line with critical damage. 3 collisions, Commander Vex noted as she emerged from the pod. "Below passing standard, but better than your fellow humans." The compliment felt hollow as several cadets snickered. That evening in the mess hall, Olivia sat alone again. Her food, designed to be nutritionally complete for all species, tasted like cardboard. "Mind if I join you?" asked a quiet voice. She looked up to see a Zoltan cadet, the smallest species in the academy. His pale green skin glistened under the lights. "I'm Finn," he said, sitting down without waiting for permission. "Olivia, I saw your simulator run," he said. "The problem isn't your reflexes, it's your approach." Olivia frowned. "What do you mean?" "Humans try to fly like Solarians or Vortens, but your brains work differently. You need your own technique." Before Finn could explain further, a group of Solarian cadets approached, teaching the human how not to crash. One called out, "Waste of time." They lacked the brain structure for proper navigation. Finn's gills fluttered, and what Olivia had learned was annoyance. "Ignore them," he whispered. "Tomorrow's tactical assessment will be entertaining," the lead Solarian said. "I hear humans can't even visualize 4-dimensional space." As they walked away laughing, Olivia turned to Finn. "What did you mean about my approach?" "Meet me in Simulator Lab 3 after hours," he said. "I'll show you." For the first time since arriving, Olivia felt a spark of hope. Maybe she just needed a different way to fly. Simulator Lab 3 was dark when Olivia arrived. Only emergency lights glowed along the floor, casting long shadows across the room. She checked her watch, 2300 hours, well after curfew. Getting caught would mean demerits, maybe even probation. "You came," Finn said, emerging from behind a simulator pod. His green skin seemed to glow faintly in the darkness. "I need all the help I can get," Olivia admitted. Finn activated a simulator without turning on the main lights. The control panel illuminated his face from below. Humans struggle with navigation because instructors teach Solarian methods, he explained. Their brains naturally process five-dimensional space. Yours doesn't. Olivia frowned. So we're just not capable. Different, not incapable. Finn corrected. My people studied many species before joining the Alliance. Humans have unique neural pathways. You make connections others can't see. He pulled up the asteroid field simulation and modified the settings. Watch how Solarians navigate, he said, showing a recording of an earlier session. The ship moved in smooth, predictable patterns, always choosing the mathematically optimal path. Now watch yourself, he continued, playing her attempt. Her movements seemed chaotic by comparison, sometimes choosing seemingly harder paths. I was failing, Olivia said. No, you were adapting, Finn replied. See here and here. You made intuitive jumps in your pathway. Your human brain was trying to create shortcuts the Solarian method doesn't allow for. For the next hour, Finn helped Olivia develop a new approach. Instead of calculating exact vectors for each asteroid, they built a system using visual patterns and intuitive timing, playing to human strengths. Try it now, Finn said. Olivia entered the simulator and started the asteroid field program. This time, instead of fighting her instincts, she leaned into them. When the electromagnetic disturbances began, she used visual cues rather than instrument readings. Her ship glided through the asteroids with growing confidence. One near miss, but no collisions. That was amazing, she breathed as the simulation ended. Finn checked the score. Not just amazing. You beat the class average. How did you know this would work? Olivia asked. My grandfather was a xenobiologist. He believed different species should use their natural strengths instead of copying others. Finn's gills fluttered. The Alliance preaches unity but practices conformity. A noise in the corridor startled them both. Finn quickly shut down the simulator. We should go. Security drones patrol at midnight. They slipped out separate exits, agreeing to meet again the next night. Back in her barracks, Olivia found Nera still awake, studying at her desk. Late practice? The warden asked, not looking up. Yes, Olivia replied cautiously. Determined, aren't you? There was no mockery in Nera's voice, just observation. I have to be. Nera finally looked at her. Most humans quit by now. I'm not most humans. Something like respect flickered across Nera's face. No, perhaps you're not. For the next week, Olivia met Finn every night. They worked on adapting each simulator program to human neural patterns. They discovered that humans excelled at recognizing visual patterns and making intuitive leaps, skills that could compensate for their weaknesses in multidimensional mathematics. During regular classes, Olivia kept using the standard methods, performing adequately but not standing out. She wasn't ready to reveal her alternative approach yet. The quarterly assessment is next week, Finn reminded her during their 7th late-night session. Everyone will be watching. What if it doesn't work? Olivia asked. What if I fail in front of everyone? Finn's expression grew serious. Then you fail trying your way, not theirs. Another voice spoke from the shadows. An interesting philosophy. They both jumped as Lieutenant Allen stepped into the light. Sir, we can explain, Olivia began. No need, Cadet, he said, studying the modified simulator program on the screen. I've been wondering how long it would take before someone questioned our teaching methods. He looked at Olivia with new interest. Show me what you've developed. The day of quarterly assessments arrived with a buzz of nervous energy throughout the academy. Cadets filled the main simulation arena where 20 pods stood in a circle facing a central holographic display. Senior officers occupied the observation deck above. Olivia's stomach twisted with nerves. After Lieutenant Allen had discovered their late-night practice sessions, she expected punishment. Instead, he had watched her demonstration silently, then simply said, Interesting approach, Cadet. Good luck on assessment day. Now she stood with the other human cadets, all looking pale and worried. The assessment would combine navigation, tactical decision-making, and emergency response, all areas where humans traditionally performed poorly. Commander Vex entered the arena, his blue skin darkened to a serious navy tone. Today's assessment determines your standing for the next quarter. Some of you will advance, others will be placed on probation. His 4 eyes scanned the crowd, lingering on the human section. A few may be asked to leave. The simulation would run alphabetically by species, then name. As humans fell in the middle of the alphabet, Olivia had time to watch others perform. First went the Arcturians, their scaled fingers dancing across controls with practiced precision. Then came the Meridians, their multiple arms giving them advantages in emergency scenarios. Humans, Commander Vex finally announced. Cadet Ellis. The first human performed adequately, finishing with a score just above the minimum passing requirement. Small progress, but still near the bottom of the rankings. Cadet Lopes. Another human, another barely passing score. Cadet Martinez. Whispers followed Olivia as she walked to her assigned pod. She heard Auxiliarian Cadet bet another that she would fail completely. She settled into the simulator and took a deep breath. The screen lit up with the assessment scenario. Navigate through a debris field while defending against enemy attacks and responding to ship systems failures. Assessment begins in 3, 2, 1. The simulation started with a series of small challenges, navigating around large debris pieces while monitoring enemy positions. Olivia used the standard methods at first, performing much like the other human cadets. Then came the first major challenge, multiple enemies attacking while the ship entered a dense debris cluster. This was where most humans faltered, unable to process the multiple threats simultaneously. Olivia switched to her modified approach. Instead of treating navigation and combat as separate problems requiring divided attention, she visualized patterns of safe movement that naturally avoided both debris and enemy firing solutions. On the observation deck, Commander Vex leaned forward. What is she doing? Lieutenant Allen watched without commenting. Olivia's ship danced through the debris field in unconventional patterns. When ship systems began failing, the third challenge, she quickly prioritized repairs based on visual cues rather than standard protocols. Her score climbed steadily. The final challenge combined all elements at maximum difficulty. A massive debris field, multiple attackers, critical systems failures, and a narrow time window to reach the exit point. Most cadets, even non-humans, struggled with this section. Many failed outright. Olivia fully embraced her intuitive method. Her hands moved across the controls in a rhythm that looked almost random but produced remarkably effective results. She wasn't calculating optimal paths, she was feeling them. When the simulation ended, she sat back, breathing hard. Had it worked? She couldn't tell. The pod door opened. Commander Vex himself stood there, all 4 eyes fixed on her. Cadet Martinez, exit the pod. Olivia stepped out to face the silent arena. Every cadet and instructor stared at the main display where her score flashed. 94.7%. High EST Human SCORE in ACADMY history. A murmur ran through the crowd. Commander Vex's skin had lightened to a pale, surprised blue. Explain your methodology, Cadet, he demanded. Olivia stood at attention. Sir, I adapted the standard procedures to work with human neural patterns rather than against them. We processed visual patterns and make intuitive connections differently than Solarians or Vordans. You modified Academy procedures. I optimized them for human physiology. Sir. Lieutenant Allen stepped forward. Commander, I observed Cadet Martinez's approach last week. It's unorthodox but effective. Perhaps we should consider that different species require different teaching methods. For several long moments, Commander Vex studied Olivia. Finally, his skin shifted to a thoughtful purple. Interesting, Cadet Martinez. Very interesting indeed. News of Olivia's assessment score spread through the academy like wildfire. By dinner that evening, every cadet knew that a human had achieved the highest simulation score in her class, something that hadn't happened in the academy's 40-year history of human attendance. Olivia entered the mess hall, feeling the weight of hundreds of eyes tracking her movements. Conversations hushed as she passed, then erupted into whispers behind her. Is that her? How did she do it? Must be a glitch in the scoring system. She filled her tray and looked for an empty table, her usual routine. Instead, Finn waved her over to where he sat with several other cadets. The hero arrives, he said with a flutter of his gills that indicated amusement. I'm not a hero, Olivia replied quietly, sitting down. I just tried something different. A Traxian cadet across the table leaned forward, her silver skin catching the light. Everyone's talking about your method. Is it true you completely rewrote the approach to multi-dimensional navigation? Before Olivia could answer, Nerat appeared beside the table. The tall Vortin stood stiffly, her expression unreadable. Martinez, she said formally, the senior cadets request your presence at their table. This was unprecedented. Senior cadets never mixed with first years. Hesitantly, Olivia followed Nerat to a table where 5 senior cadets sat, one from each of the top-performing species. The Academy's elite. Sit, said a male Accelerian with command stripes on his uniform. I am Senior Cadet Fox. We wish to understand your methodology. Olivia sat down nervously. It's not that complicated. I just recognize that humans process spatial relationships differently than the standard Academy approach allows for. Show us, said Vox, sliding a data pad toward her. For the next 20 minutes, Olivia explained her adapted techniques while the senior cadets watched intently. She demonstrated how visual pattern recognition could replace multidimensional calculations in certain scenarios. Fascinating, Vox finally said. You've created a viable alternative to centuries of established procedure. Not better, Olivia clarified quickly. Just different. Better for humans. Perhaps better for others too, said a Meridian senior cadet. Many species struggle with aspects of Silurian mathematical models. The conversation might have continued, but the mess hall doors opened to admit Commander Vex and 3 other senior officers. The room fell silent as they walked directly to Olivia's table. Cadet Martinez, said Commander Vex, your presence is requested in the Commandant's office. Now, Olivia's heart sank. Was she in trouble after all? She stood and followed the officers out, feeling every eye in the room on her back. The walk to the administrative section seemed endless. When they finally arrived at the Commandant's office, Olivia was surprised to see Lieutenant Allen already there, along with several officers she didn't recognize. Behind the desk sat Commandant Rix, a legendary Dravalian officer whose species was known for their analytical minds. Her scaled face was impossible to read. Cadet Martinez, the Commandant said, her voice surprisingly soft. I've reviewed your assessment performance and Lieutenant Allen's report on your modified techniques. Olivia stood at rigid attention, waiting for the reprimand. In 40 years of human attendance at this academy, we have failed to produce more than a handful of top officers from your species, Commandant Rix continued. We assumed this reflected inherent limitations. She tapped a control, and Olivia's simulation run appeared on the wall screen. Your performance suggests another possibility, that we have been teaching humans incorrectly all along. Commandant Rix stood. Lieutenant Allen has proposed a pilot program to adapt our training methods for different neural architectures, beginning with humans. You will assist in developing this program. Olivia blinked in surprise. Me, ma'am. Yes, Cadet. Your insights may help us unlock the potential of not just humans, but several other species that have historically underperformed here. For the first time since arriving at the academy, Olivia felt a true sense of belonging, not because she had conformed, but because she had found her own path. Thank you, Commandant. I won't let you down. As she left the office, Lieutenant Allen walked beside her. Congratulations, Cadet. Your approach has opened many eyes. even those with 4 of them. Olivia smiled. I just wanted to pass my assessments. You've done much more than that, he replied. You may have changed the Academy forever. 3 months after Olivia's breakthrough performance, the Academy looked different. In Simulator Lab 1, now designated the Adaptive Training Center, cadets from various species worked side by side, each using methods tailored to their neural architecture. Olivia stood at the front of the room, watching a group of first-year human cadets practice her navigation technique. Their success rates had improved dramatically since adopting her approach. Remarkable progress, said Commander Vex, who had become an unexpected supporter of the program. His skin now regularly displayed the deep purple of intellectual engagement rather than the bored blue of the past. Thank you, sir, Olivia replied. The new human cadets are adapting even faster than I did. Because they have you to learn from, not against, he noted. Across the room, Finn worked with a group of smaller species whose neural patterns shared similarities with Zoltan's. His status had risen alongside Olivia's, his xenobiological insights proving valuable to the program. Lieutenant Allen, now promoted to full lieutenant commander, entered the lab with a group of visiting officers from other Alliance training facilities. And here is Cadet Lieutenant Martinez, the architect of our adaptive training methodology, he announced. Olivia still wasn't used to her new rank or the attention it brought. After her methods went viral throughout the academy, the commandant had promoted her and assigned her to Lieutenant Allen's team. One of the visiting officers, a human woman with Admiral's insignia, approached Olivia. Admiral Chen, Earth Division. She introduced herself. Your work has caused quite a stir throughout the Alliance military education system. I just wanted to find a way to succeed, Mom, Olivia said. You've done much more. Human applications to the Academy have increased 40% since news of your methods spread. You've given our species hope of true integration. After the visitors departed, Olivia headed to her afternoon combat tactics class. The hallways were different now, too. Where once she had walked alone, other cadets now greeted her with respect. Even Nora, her once cold Vorden roommate, had become something close to a friend. Martinez, Nora called, falling into step beside her. Have you seen the latest statistics? She handed Olivia a data pad showing performance metrics across species. Human scores had risen dramatically, now placing them 7th among 17 species, up from 15th before the adaptive program. Not just humans are improving, Olivia noted, seeing similar improvements among Zoltans, Dralians, and several other traditionally underperforming species. The old methods favored certain neural structures, Nora admitted. Perhaps we Vordens had an unfair advantage all along. This acknowledgement, from a species known for their pride, showed how much attitudes had changed. Later that evening, Olivia received a message requesting her presence in the Commandant's garden, a rare honor few cadets ever experienced. The garden simulated environments from dozens of Alliance worlds. Commandant Rakes stood beside a small Earth section where oak trees and wildflowers grew. You wanted to see me, Commandant? Olivia asked. Yes, Cadet Lieutenant. I wanted to show you something. She activated a holographic display showing a starship schematic. The Alliance is commissioning a new training vessel, the first designed with adaptive interfaces for all species. It will be called the Intrepid. She turned to Olivia. And you will join its maiden voyage as a junior officer upon your graduation. Olivia stared at the beautiful ship design. I'm honored, Commandant. Honor belongs to those who earn it, Rix replied. You have earned more than a position on this ship. You have earned a place in Academy history. As the sun set outside the station's massive windows, casting golden light through the garden, Olivia thought about her journey. From the farm girl mocked for her human limitations to a cadet officer whose methods were changing the Alliance. That night, she wrote a message to her mother back on Earth. Mom, remember when you worried humans would never truly belong among the stars? It turns out we just needed to find our own way to navigate them. The Academy is changing, and I helped change it. Dad would have been proud not just of me, but of what this means for all humans in the Alliance. We belong here after all. We just needed to stop trying to be like everyone else and start being the best versions of ourselves instead. As she sent the message across the light years to Earth, Olivia realized she had found more than a way to pass her classes. She had found a way to help her entire species find their place among the stars.